What's going on? It's your boy Savage Woods, and welcome to my channel where we talk about how to make money online without showing your face. But we talk about digital marketing as a whole. So, showing your face, these concepts will work regardless of what you want to do. Okay? Now, check this out. We getting straight to it. I have been laid off from corporate America 6 times since 2020. This is a video that is going to come out in May of 2025. Okay? So, just know that this is crazy. Now, I did another video about this on my other channel, my music channel. But I wanted to make sure I did it on this channel because we talk about how to make money online. And this is the exact reason why we talk about that, bro. It's no reason for us to be out here giving our all to these jobs, stressed out, tired, commuting, doing all these different things, being underpaid and overworked. And it's no reason, bro. I feel super passionately about this. Now, I say this, I respect corporations, jobs, 9 to 5s. I respect them. I am an entrepreneur. And once my business grows to a point where I can employ people, right? Or I have a business where employees are necessary, whatever the case may be, okay? I'm going to have to hire people that are not entrepreneurs. They don't think like me, and they're not going to stay up till 2 a.m. doing stuff for work because that's not their job to do that. I don't pay them to do that, okay? And I'm not going to expect that of them either. Unless we're working an overnight business, then you're on shift, which is normal because you're on shift. But I digress. So, point I'm making here, though, is that, yeah, man, 6 layoffs, corporate America. So on the music YouTube, I told it from the standpoint of how I just maintained creativity throughout my entire corporate journey leading into the layoffs, and then how the layoffs kind of like boosted and propelled and fueled my creativity, which was pretty dope. Treacherous feeling though, being out of a job, living in Los Angeles, California, right? So look, I have 10 years of corporate America experience, okay? And I started off, actually, my first job was in restaurant management. Okay. I honestly got that job just to hold me over until I got another job because I got offered a job right out of college. So I finished college December 2014, had my graduation ceremony in May of 2015. Okay. So that's why I always say I graduated 2015, but really I finished school in 2014 though. So why is that important? Because I mean, bro, I smoke weed. So I just gotta say it like that. You feel me? I was smoking weed in college. You feel what I'm saying? So the job that I secured before I finished that semester, fall 2014, I knew that they were going to drug test me. I had an inside person there that let me know that they do a hair test. A hair test, bro. I know you're looking at me like, bro, what hair? But, bro, if you don't got hair on your head, they're going to take it from somewhere else. You feel what I'm saying? Get your armpit or something. Back then, though, I had hair on top of my head still. So it's like, bro. So I knew I had to be clean. So I went and got another job in restaurant management. I did that while I was clean for 4, 5, 6 months. And then I went over to the other job that I secured out of college, which was in grocery vendor, basically. Deliveries. It was a nightmare of a job, bro. That's all I can say about that. Just couldn't, because it was at the highest level that you could do that. So it's overnight and lots of work, and I was doing management, and so it was just a lot. It was a lot, bro. Too much. Then I got into tech recruiting. Okay, now so this is where the journey started. Corporate started going good for me. You know, going from the grocery vendor sales manager job, I took a 50% pay cut to become a tech recruiter. Sounds brutal, but I was young. I was 25, still living on grandpa's house. So I took advantage of that by leaving the worst possible job ever to go do something completely different. And then once I realized I was in the field of technology, which is funny because I manifested this unintentionally back in college. Once I realized I was in the field of technology, I knew that, okay, maybe there's a possibility to get paid pretty good in this, but it started to occur to me later down the line, right? Because I was thinking about it the whole time, but once I started seeing the possibilities, I started to say, okay, maybe this is something I can ride out and start making some good money, and then I'll be able to invest in my music career. Boom. Dog, let me tell you how that ended up going. But first, let me tell you about the manifestation, because manifestation is very real. In college, I went to Tuskegee University. Shout out to all the black colleges out there, HBCUs. The year that I graduated Tuskegee, we were the #1 HBCU, okay? #1 private university. All right. Shout out to the Golden Tigers. TU, you know. Now, check it out. Damn, hold on. I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. We're going to run it back. Oh, yeah, I was manifesting. So one day I was walking around the business house, a.k.a. where I studied, because I majored in business. It was the Andrew F. Bremer Business School. So I was walking around and I was like, man, Maybe I'll get into HR one day. I like to talk to people. I think I can work with people and do well. Boom. Then another day, separate occasion, I was like, what if I got into tech? Yeah. Now it's funny because a close friend of mine actually discouraged me from getting into tech, and I don't know if that was like some unintentional shit or some like I don't know. That was weird. But I later found out that tech paid a lot. I'm like, I could have just did this from the jump. But whatever. Who cares? Tech's not my passion, man. It's it's a cool industry. It's just really volatile, and we're gonna get into that now. So, about 7 years, 6 or 7 years after that, I ended up in the tech industry doing an HR function. It's really a talent acquisition function, but it's all related. It's people, hiring people, letting go of people, whatever, scouting people, recruiting them, whatever, right? So I did 3 years in a recruiter agency. The pay was crap, but once I got some good commissions, I had about out of my 27 months of working there, 9 months I got paid really good. So that 9 months was fun. And then COVID happened, and well, you can guess what happened from there. So I ended up getting let go about 6 months into the whole COVID fiasco. Terrible time in life. 3 months off, and then I got hired for a mid-level tech recruiter role. And this is when the game changed for your boy. All right. So we're one layoff in. That layoff was September 2020. Now this is when everything came back. When the job market got all pumped up, when the stock market got all pumped up, when everybody got loans and got bailed out and everybody started hiring again. But everybody overhired. But we'll get into that. So in 2021, the hiring race was on. That was the best time to become a recruiter. If you ever thought about becoming a recruiter, 2021 and 2022 was your best friend. It was actually, I believe, the time in history with the most open recruiter roles ever. It was like over 30,000 recruiter jobs open, like in the summertime. Like, it was insane. I know because I interviewed for probably 20,000 of them. Like, I'm not even lying. My LinkedIn inbox from 2020, 2021, 2022 was full of recruiters trying to get me to go and work for whoever, bro. And that's when I was on top of the world making good money, bro. Bomb money. I mean, in LA, it doesn't go as far, but I lived in Arizona for one period of that, and that was bomb. So it was like crazy. So it was all remote work, right? Because, the pandemic set everybody up for success. So I'm working remotely, working for this startup company. They're paying me $50 an hour, bro. Oh my God. I've hit the jackpot now. I went from making 40K. I made 80K before at this point, but I went from the 80K to the 40K. And then one year was 65K. It was a good year, right? And then 50K the next year. And I was like, damn. But the year after I made 50K, I made 100K. I was getting $50 an hour at this startup. Then they hired me on permanent, and my salary went down to 85K with benefits. But that didn't last very long because I got an offer from a huge company known as Amazon. And I'm not here to bash Amazon. That was a great experience for me. No lie. I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here talking about freedom and we don't need corporate. I did enjoy my time at Amazon. That was a very challenging role until it wasn't anymore. We'll get into that. So, um, I was at Amazon and they paid me a little bit more, $55 an hour. And then when they offered me on permanent at the end of the year, they ended up paying me what was the equivalent of like $58 an hour plus insane benefits and stock. I was about to, but I didn't get stock. After 1 year, it would have started to vest and I could have got a little bit of stock, like half a share. And well, let me tell you. So, June 2021 through December 2022, I worked for Amazon. And, buddy, I was killing it. It was hard at first, and then I got good at it. Tech recruiting for Amazon. My manager set me up for success. He hired me on the right team and got me recruiting the right types of roles that I'm good at. Everything was pretty peachy after I got through that first 4 months of roughness. And then we go through a whole year of being an FTE, full-time employee, and the layoffs come. Now, I'll be honest, I was doing overemployment. And if you haven't heard of overemployment, that's when you work multiple high paying remote jobs or just multiple remote jobs in general. Full time jobs, and you work them like you work during 8 to 5, whatever the hours are, at the same time. This is not we get off work and go do an Uber shift. This is not we get off work and go work at a hotel as concierge. No, this is If you're like a project manager, you have 2 project manager jobs. Okay, that's what that is. And it is not easy, but I did it. I was a tech recruiter and I worked for multiple companies. Okay. And that was the greatest thing ever because I know the economy sucks. I knew it was going to get better. I didn't know it was going to get this bad, but I knew it was going to get worse. And I knew it was bad already. And I knew the cost of living was going to shoot the hell up. I knew all these things were coming because I pay attention. I should have been an economist, honestly. It's very interesting to me. I love this stuff. You get what I'm saying? So I did that as a precautionary method and measure, and it worked. So I got laid off from Amazon in December of 2022. That's layoff number 2. Then I had a contract that ended in March of 2023. So that's layoff number 3. But at this point, I'm hanging on to one job. Then I got another remote contract, but it only lasted 2 months. So I got laid off in May of 2023. So what layoff number is that? Number 4? Yeah. So at this point, I'm scared, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's shaky, it's rocky, and I had a lot of money saved up from all them high paying jobs. Like I did that on purpose because I knew what was up. And rest in peace to my dad. He ended up passing away in the middle of, well, before I started working multiple jobs. He passed away right before that. So, um, saying all that to say, man, it wasn't a situation where if I failed, I could just go home. My grandpa was older, and I had already been living in his house for a while, and I had already moved out and had been living on my own at this point for like, yeah, coming up on 2. It was coming up on 2 years. So it wasn't really no more, hey, grandpa, save me. Like it was like, yo, grown man time. So I had money saved up. I was in the game. I was investing, like everything was going good, but I was losing all my jobs, and that shit was really scary, bro. And I was trying to think of other skills and stuff that I wanted to study and do, but I just was like, nah, I'm gonna just hold on to this recruiter job. I'm good. They paying me good as fuck. Like it's paying me good as fuck. I was making crazy money at that one. You feel me? It was my last remote contract. I was making like $70 an hour, bro. It was bomb. Like it was a bomb, bro. I was winning so hard in life. Wasn't doing crazy shit with my money, man. I didn't go buying no cars. I didn't have no car note. I didn't have credit card debt. I started getting into credit card debt once like I had no more extra jobs, and then I had to start downsizing my life because I ended up getting laid off and shit. Oh man, oh boy, yeah. So we'll get into that, but so yeah, we 4 layoffs in at this point. It's 2023. I'm having a ball though. I got stuff going on in life, but I'm out having fun. And then this is where it started getting kind of crazy. You see, in 2023, I told myself that I wanted to stop messing around. See, I'm a pretty focused person with goals, and I got very distracted for a few years. It wasn't because of the money. It was not because of the money. I got distracted because I had some really bad things happening to me in life, and I just didn't know how to cope emotionally. So I did a lot of partying, and I was just wilding out, bro. Really not focused. Not focused. Lost focus as bad as I've ever lost focus. You get what I'm saying? So um, I was at a point in 2023 towards the end where I was like, man, I don't really want to go out party no more. I'm like, I need to lock in. Like, I need to really lock in. I'm wasting my opportunity. There's no work to be done at this job, but they're still paying me. That gives me all day to do my own thing. Like I'm BSing right now. You feel me? And it wasn't like I wasn't making music or doing anything productive business wise. It's just I was just out there messing around, bro. Well, you ask and you shall receive. Got in a car accident. I was perfectly fine, but my car was totaled. And so that immediately slowed me down. Fast forward to April 2024, layoff number 5. Yep, my fully remote $70 an hour senior technical recruiter role got cut. I live in LA, bro. 70 an hour is great in LA. 0 an hour is not. So I go from that to unemployment of $1,800 a month. I have no car at this time because I chose to not get my car fixed. I wanted the money. I took the money. And I was living in a centrally located area, so there was no need for me to have a car, which is a rare thing to say for somebody who's living in LA. But it was all part of my plan and my plot to make sure that I'm good no matter what. Because I was tired of driving my car around. I used to do Uber. I used to drive for certain jobs on top of Uber. So I just wanted to give my car a rest. It was getting up there in mileage. It was a Civic, It was nice, but it was just getting up there in mileage, and it had a few accidents on it. So I was trying to rest it as much as possible. So once it was totaled, I just let it go. And I was just a foot soldier for a while. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, I didn't have a job for 6 months, man. And I had to spend my savings on rent and food and life. And I was applying to jobs like crazy. You see, I had never stopped applying to jobs. All while I was getting laid off, I was applying to hella jobs, hundreds, maybe even thousands. But if we're just counting the time from layoff number 5, which was April 2024, all the way to when I got hired again in September 2024, it took about 700 or so applications for me to get a job. Oh, and the job that I got, ooh, buddy, not here to down talk the company. They shall remain nameless. However, bruh, when I tell you that the only reason that my grocery vendor sales manager job was worse was because physical labor was involved and it was in the middle of the night a lot of times. If those weren't factors, this job would have taken the cake. My most recent layoff was the worst thing ever. That was the most stressful shit I ever endured in my fucking life, bro. Fuck that shit. All right? Fuck that shit. Straight the fuck up. That shit was trash. Okay? Nigga, that shit was trash, nigga. So, um, I don't think all project manager jobs are like that. By the way, that's what it was. It was a project manager job in tech. So after 6.5 years of tech recruiting and becoming a master and being able to just knock work out in less than 40 hours a week, remember, I had 3 jobs at one time, 2 for almost a whole year and 3 for like a few months. And I was getting all my work done at all of them, straight up. There was no suspicions of me doing that because I was efficient as fuck in my work. But I went from that to doing project management, and I just think I went to project management for the wrong company. I mean, I heard that project management is a lot of work and it can be stressful, but I think I went to the wrong company and got a really fucked version of it. And so, I was at this company, and one of the main things my manager said, who had been working there for 7 years already and went from project manager to the manager of project managers, she was saying that they had never ever done layoffs in that department, so there was nothing to worry about. And other people who had been working there said the same thing. And I didn't want to be a negative Nancy, but when I came in that office, I didn't lie to myself. And yeah, I let them know. Cool. That's what's up. That makes me feel better. But I don't put nothing past no company. And so a lot of changes started happening while I was there. Every week, some new update, some frequent change. And then the first round of layoffs. 7 months into this role. Now you got to think, I've been remote for the last 4 years. I've been a tech recruiter for the last 6.5. I had a whole routine over there, a whole standard operating procedure that I could take to any company, and I could just be a recruiter. I could be I was a consultant actually, so you can put me in any recruiter environment, I would thrive. Right? That's what you want at work. You don't want to go to work stressed out. Oh my god, I'm not good at this. Like that's scary, bro. I don't got time for that, bro. It's stressful. That's short in your life. We don't got time for that, right? We are abundant out here. We don't got time for that type of stuff. None of that. So, you gotta understand, bro. I went from that to like I had to go back to working hard as hell like I used to. I'm not down on nobody for hard work. Hard work is you gotta do it. You just gotta do it. America is set up for you to work hard. And sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Working smart is always the goal though. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Trust me, bro. I worked 18-hour shifts and shit before, so I'm not tripping. But it was an adjustment to get back to like, oh shit, I gotta get on the bus, go to work. And then when I started getting a client load, I was working 12-hour days every day, bro. 12, 13 hours. That shit was unbelievable. Oh my god damn. So that shit was just stressful as fuck. I couldn't fuck with it, bro. I'm sorry. I know I'm cussing a lot, but I'm telling you, I feel very passionately about that one. And so, when the layoffs start coming around, I'm like, okay. They said they never did layoffs in this department before. Oh, it was true. And so, oh man, my light ran out. Guess I'm talking too much. But yeah, so I walked in there ready to quit, bro, because the work was stressing me out too crazy, and they was actually about to lay me off that same day. So it worked out. So that's why you should always have another stream of income, man. Chase your dreams. Don't waste time. Life is short. Straight up. And if you're looking to start a faceless brand, I got the Faceless Digital Marketing Master Bundle. Link in the description. Link in my bio. Go ahead and cop that. Comes with the Faceless TikTok course, Faceless YouTube automation course, which I think is just incredible, Faceless Instagram course, and how to start an online business. So let's get this money and not be subject to 6 corporate layoffs. All right. Shout out to the field of technology, very important in today's landscape. However, I don't know if I'm going to be able to enter that market ever again, or if I even want to at this point. You know what I'm saying? Um, 6 layoffs, bro, and 5 of them have come from December 2022 to April 2025. That's crazy. Peace.